and a warm welcome back to the USA English Podcast. We are absolutely delighted to have you here with us today. I'm Erica.
And I'm Marco. Today's subject is something that every English learner needs. We're talking about 100 everyday English verbs you need to know to speak English naturally.
Verbs are the engine of any sentence. They are the words that carry action, feeling, and meaning. Without verbs, we can't really say much.
Today, we're going to give you the 100 most common and useful verbs in daily English. We'll show you how to use them in real conversations, not just as a list.
We'll cover verbs for daily routines, work, social life, feelings, movement, and much more. By the end of this lesson, you'll have a strong foundation of verbs that you can use in almost any situation.
If you enjoy learning with us, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And click the notification bell so you never miss a lesson. All right, Erica, let's get started. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great. I actually woke up early this morning, got out of bed right away, and started my day with some light stretching. It really helped me wake up and feel energized.
That's wonderful. I see you already used several verbs. Woke up, got out, started, helped. They're so common we don't even notice them.
Yes, exactly. We use verbs all the time without thinking. Wake up, get out, start, help. They're everywhere.
What else did you do this morning?
I made a cup of tea, turned on some soft music, and went over my schedule for the day. I also checked in with a colleague about a project we're working on together.
Make, turn on, go over, check in, work on. That's 5 verbs in one sentence.
I didn't even realize. That's how natural they are. And that's exactly what we want our listeners to experience, using verbs without thinking.
So let's dive into our main conversation and help our listeners master these 100 everyday verbs.
Let's start with the most common verbs for daily routines. These are verbs you use every single day.
The first set is about waking up and starting your day. You wake up, get up, turn off your alarm, get out of bed, and stand up. Then you walk to the bathroom, wash your face, brush your teeth, and take a shower.
After that, you get dressed, put on your clothes, make breakfast, eat your meal, and drink your coffee. Then you grab your bag, check your phone, leave the house, and head to work or school.
That's a lot of verbs just for the morning, but they're also natural and common.
Yes, and you probably say these every day without thinking.
Now let's talk about verbs for work and study.
At work, you arrive, start your computer, open your email, read messages, reply to people, write reports, and attend meetings. You also ask questions, answer calls, solve problems, help colleagues, and finish tasks.
For students, you study, learn, read, write, take notes, remember information, understand concepts, and pass exams. You also ask your teacher questions, explain your ideas, and practice your skills.
These are all essential verbs for professional and academic life.
Now let's talk about verbs for social life.
You meet friends, talk about your day, share stories, laugh at jokes, enjoy conversations, and spend time together. You also invite people, accept invitations, and plan activities.
You can also go out, visit places, explore new areas, travel to different cities, and experience new cultures.
Social verbs are so important because they connect us to other people.
Now let's talk about verbs for feelings and emotions.
You feel happy, sad, excited, nervous, worried, or tired. You love people and things, enjoy experiences, hate certain activities, and prefer some choices over others.
You also hope for good things, wish for change, dream about the future, and believe in yourself.
These verbs help you express your inner world.
Now, let's talk about verbs for daily tasks.
You cook, clean, wash, dry, fold, iron, and organize. You also shop, buy, pay, save, and spend. You fix things, repair problems, and maintain your home.
These verbs are about taking care of yourself and your space.
Now, let's talk about verbs for communication.
You speak, say, tell, ask, answer, reply, explain, describe, and discuss. You also argue, agree, disagree, and compromise.
You express your opinions, share your thoughts, communicate your feelings, and connect with others.
These verbs are the foundation of conversation.
Now, let's talk about verbs for thinking.
You think, believe, consider, imagine, and reflect. You decide, choose, pick, and select.
You remember, forget, recall, and remind. These verbs help you process the world around you.
Now, let's talk about verbs for movement.
You walk, run, jump, skip, and climb. You drive, ride, fly, sail, and travel. You move, turn, step, and stretch.
These verbs are about physical action.
Now, let's talk about verbs for eating and drinking.
You eat, drink, swallow, chew, and taste. You also cook, bake, grill, roast, and fry.
You prepare meals, serve food, and enjoy your favorite dishes. These verbs are about one of life's greatest pleasures, food.
Now, let's talk about verbs for health.
You exercise, stretch, run, lift, and swim. You also rest, sleep, relax, and breathe. You take care of yourself, visit doctors, and stay healthy.
These verbs are about your physical well-being.
Now, let's talk about verbs for technology.
You use, click, type, scroll, download, upload, and save. You also search, find, connect, share, and post.
These verbs are essential for modern life.
Now, let's talk about verbs for money.
You earn, spend, save, invest, and borrow. You also buy, purchase, pay, and afford. These verbs are about managing your finances.
Now, let's talk about verbs for learning.
You learn, study, practice, review, and improve. You also discover, explore, understand, and master. These verbs are about personal growth.
Now, let's talk about verbs for helping others.
You help, support, assist, guide, and encourage. You also give, share, offer, and volunteer. These verbs are about kindness and generosity.
Now, let's talk about verbs for decision-making.
You decide, choose, pick, select, and opt for. You also consider, weigh, evaluate, and determine. These verbs are about making choices.
Now, let's talk about verbs for time.
You wait, spend, waste, save, and manage time. You also schedule, plan, organize, and prepare. These verbs are about how we use our days.
Now, let's talk about verbs for relationships.
You love, pair, trust, respect, and support. You also forgive, apologize, appreciate, and value. These verbs are about the connections we build.
Now, let's talk about verbs for creativity.
You create, design, draw, paint, and write. You also compose, invent, imagine, and inspire. These verbs are about expressing yourself.
Now, let's talk about verbs for nature.
You grow, plant, water, harvest, and enjoy. You also explore, discover, hike, and camp. These verbs are about connecting with the natural world.
Now, let's talk about verbs for change.
You change, transform, adapt, adjust, and evolve. You also grow, develop, improve, and progress. These verbs are about becoming better. Now, let's talk about verbs for success.
You succeed, achieve, accomplish, reach, and attain. You also work hard, persevere, and overcome challenges.
These verbs are about reaching your goals.
Now, let's talk about verbs for failure.
You fail, lose, miss, and make mistakes, but you also learn, grow, and try again.
These verbs are about resilience.
Now, let's talk about verbs for safety.
You protect, guard, watch, and prevent. You also warn, alert, and avoid danger.
These verbs are about keeping yourself and others safe.
Now, let's talk about verbs for education.
You teach, train, mentor, coach, and guide. You also explain, demonstrate, show, and inform.
These verbs are about sharing knowledge.
Now, let's talk about verbs for work-life balance.
You balance, prioritize, manage, and juggle. You also take breaks, rest, and recharge.
These verbs are about finding harmony.
Now, let's talk about verbs for communication styles.
You speak politely, listen actively, ask clearly, and answer honestly. You also express yourself confidently and respond appropriately.
These verbs are about effective communication.
Now, let's talk about verbs for problem solving.
You identify, analyze, solve, and implement. You also brainstorm, discuss, and decide.
These verbs are about finding solutions.
Now, let's talk about verbs for travel.
You travel, explore, visit, and see new places. You also book, pack, go, and return.
These verbs are about adventure.
Now, let's talk about verbs for reading.
You read, understand, interpret, and summarize. You also enjoy, learn, and grow.
These verbs are about engaging with written words. Now, let's talk about verbs for writing.
You write, compose, draft, edit, and revise. You also express, describe, and tell stories. These verbs are about putting your thoughts on paper.
Now, let's talk about verbs for listening.
You listen, hear, understand, and respond. You also pay attention and show interest.
These verbs are about being present.
Now let's talk about verbs for speaking.
You speak, say, tell, announce, and state. You also pronounce, articulate, and express.
These verbs are about using your voice.
Now, let's talk about verbs for observing.
You watch, notice, observe, and look. You also inspect, examine, and study.
These verbs are about paying attention.
Now let's talk about verbs for feeling.
You feel, sense, touch, and experience. You also notice and respond.
These verbs are about your physical and emotional sensations.
Now, let's talk about verbs for dreaming.
You dream, imagine, visualize, and hope. You also wish and aspire.
These verbs are about your future.
Now let's practice using these verbs in a conversation.
Great idea. Let me start. Marco, what do you usually do in the morning?
I wake up at 6:30. I get out of bed and go to the bathroom. I brush my teeth and take a shower. Then I get dressed and make breakfast. I eat quickly and leave the house at 8.
That's a very organized routine. What about work?
At work, I start my computer and check my emails. I respond to important messages and attend meetings. I write reports and work on projects. I also help my colleagues and solve problems.
That sounds productive. What do you do in the evening?
In the evening, I cook dinner, eat with my family, and relax. I watch TV, read a book, or listen to music. I also call my parents and chat with friends.
That's a nice balance.
What about you? What do you do on weekends?
On weekends, I sleep in, go for a walk, and meet friends. I also go shopping, try new restaurants, and explore the city. I love to visit museums and discover new places.
That sounds wonderful. Do you exercise?
Yes, I exercise every day. I run in the mornings or go to the gym. I also swim and do yoga. Exercise helps me feel good.
That's great.
I exercise too. I play tennis and go for long walks.
So you stay active.
Yes, I try to. It keeps me healthy and happy.
Now, let's move to our vocabulary breakdown.
First word, wake up. This means to stop sleeping.
For example, I wake up at 7, and I wake up early on weekdays.
Another example is, I wake up late on Sundays.
Waking up is the first step of every day.
Next word, get up. This means to leave your bed.
For example, I get up at 7:15, and I get up quickly when I hear the alarm.
Another example is, I don't want to get up on cold mornings.
Getting up requires some effort.
Next word, make. This means to create or prepare something.
For example, I make breakfast, and I make my bed every morning.
Another example is, she makes a cup of tea.
Making things is a common daily activity.
Next word, eat. This means to consume food.
For example, I eat breakfast at 7:30, and I eat lunch at noon.
Another example is, we eat dinner together.
Eating is essential for life.
Next word, go. This means to move from one place to another.
For example, I go to work, and she goes to school.
Another example is, we go to the park.
Going is about movement.
Next word, work. This means to do a job or task.
For example, I work from 9 to 5, and she works hard.
Another example is, we work on projects together.
Work is an important part of life.
Next word, relax. This means to rest and unwind.
For example, I relax after work, and she relaxes by reading.
Another example is, we relax on weekends.
Relaxing is important for well-being.
Next word, help. This means to assist someone.
For example, I help my colleagues, and she helps her friends.
Another example is, we help each other.
Helping is a kind act.
Next word, enjoy. This means to take pleasure in something.
For example, I enjoy my work, and she enjoys music.
Another example is, we enjoy spending time together.
Enjoyment makes life better.
Next word, learn. This means to gain knowledge or skill.
For example, I learn English, and she learns new things.
Another example is, we learn from our mistakes.
Learning is a lifelong journey.
Let's quickly review. Wake up means stop sleeping. Get up means leave your bed. Make means create or prepare. Eat means consume food. Go means move. Work means do a job. Relax means rest. Help means assist. Enjoy means take pleasure. And learn means gain knowledge.
That's a very useful list.
Now, let's do a longer practice conversation using many of these verbs.
Great idea.
Erica, can you tell me about a typical day in your life?
Sure. I wake up at 6:30 every morning. I get up, take a shower, and get dressed. I make a light breakfast and eat it while I check my emails. I leave the house at 8 and go to work. At work, I start my computer, read and reply to messages, and attend meetings. I work on various projects and help my team members. I take a break at noon and eat lunch. I return to work in the afternoon and finish at 5. After work, I go home, cook dinner, and eat with my family. I relax in the evening by watching TV or reading a book. I also call my friends and catch up. I go to bed around 11 and fall asleep quickly.
That's a full day. What do you do on weekends?
On weekends, I sleep in and wake up late. I go for a walk in the park and enjoy the fresh air. I meet friends and hang out. I also go shopping and explore new places. I love to visit museums and learn about art. I spend time on hobbies and relax completely. That sounds wonderful. Do you exercise? Yes, I exercise regularly. I run in the mornings or go to the gym. I also swim and do yoga. Exercise helps me stay healthy and happy.
That's great. I exercise too. I play tennis and go for long walks.
So you stay active.
Yes, I try to. It keeps me fit and energized.
I think it's important to stay active and healthy.
I agree. What's your favorite way to relax?
I love to read and listen to music. I also enjoy cooking and trying new recipes.
That sounds relaxing. I also enjoy cooking and spending time with my family.
Family is so important.
It is. I call my parents every week and visit them when I can.
That's lovely. I do the same. I call my parents and siblings regularly.
It's good to stay connected.
Yes, relationships are everything.
Now, let's talk about how to practice these verbs.
First, choose 10 verbs that are most relevant to your daily life.
Second, write sentences using those verbs.
Third, practice saying them out loud.
Fourth, try to use them in real conversations.
Fifth, listen for these verbs in movies, podcasts, and songs.
The more you practice, the more natural they will become.
Now, let's talk about common mistakes.
One mistake is using the wrong verb. For example, I make a shower is wrong. It should be I take a shower.
Another mistake is forgetting the verb altogether. For example, I happy is wrong. It should be I am happy.
Another mistake is using the wrong tense. For example, I go to school yesterday is wrong. It should be I went to school yesterday.
These mistakes are common, but with practice, you can avoid them.
Now let's give some final tips.
First, focus on the most common verbs first.
Second, learn phrases and collocations with each verb.
Third, practice speaking with these verbs every day.
Fourth, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Fifth, listen to native speakers and notice how they use these verbs.
And remember, fluency comes from using what you know, not from knowing everything.
Now, let's recap the key points.
First, verbs are the engine of any sentence.
Second, there are 100 essential verbs for everyday English.
Third, these verbs cover daily routines, work, social life, feelings, movement, and more.
Fourth, practice using these verbs in real conversations.
Fifth, don't be afraid to make mistakes.
The main message is this: verbs are the building blocks of English. Master these 100 verbs, and you can speak about almost anything.
Now we want to hear from you. This is our favorite part.
Our question of the day is, which of these verbs do you use most often in your daily English, and why?
I'll answer first. I use get most often because it's so versatile. I get up, get dressed, get to work, get things done.
For me, I use make most often because I make breakfast, make calls, make plans, and make decisions.
See, we have different answers, and that's okay.
So viewers, we want to know about you. You can write, I use blank most because blank, or my favorite verb is blank because blank.
Please tell us in the comments. It helps us make better videos, and it helps you practice writing.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We hope this lesson helps you use verbs more naturally in your daily English.
If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Click the subscribe button and the little bell. That way, you won't forget to join us for our next lesson.
You are all wonderful students. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep speaking.
Yes, you have everything you need to speak English naturally. Just start with these verbs.
Have a wonderful day, evening, and night.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye for now. See you in the next lesson.